What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode. We are the CarGurus editorial team. We're a couple episodes in. We're feeling good. We're feeling pumped. My name's Elliot Haney. I'm a video producer here. To my left, I have maybe my favorite employee, Natalie Harrington,
That's just rude.
Lead staff writer.
Picking favorite.
How you doing today?
Thank you. Hello. Great now.
Oh, fantastic. That's what I'm trying to do. Dave, looking good.
Hopefully second. Hopefully that's why we're seated this way, apparently. I didn't know that. It's in order of preference.
Dave's looking good in his CarGurus vest.
Because it's 42 degrees in the studio, just for those.
I run hot.
Our conversation and it may be warm, but
there's a lot of
so
equipment in here.
I run a tight, cold ship. Okay.
Yep. But hi, everybody. Good to be here.
And last but not least, never least, Matt Smith, Deputy U.S. Editor.
Never least, always last. Happy to be here, Elliot. Thank you.
Next episode,
Elliot's top
you're going
10
first.
Employee, maybe.
Next episode, you're going first.
There we go.
Going the other way.
What are we talking about today?
Well, here's what we're talking about. We've done a couple episodes. We've talked about lists that we have on CarGurus.com, which go check it out. The little tab at the top, research, click the research button. That's what our team does. So that's what we're doing. Normally, we talk through one of those lists, and there is a list. It's called the best cars for commuting in 2025. We're gonna use that as a springboard. Maybe I'm gonna get the experts at the table to help me buy a second car. I'm part of a one-car family, but it seems like the prices may go up soon, may not. We don't know. But it feels like
time to buy.
If I'm going to buy a second car now or soon is the time to do it.
You've also just added a new family member.
I've added
2 kids.
We are now a 2-child family. I have a 4-year-old, an almost 4-year-old, and an almost 4-month-old.
Actually,
so we've.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Your kid and my kid are born within hours of each other. Like
Dave's second kid, my first kid, same exact birthday, May 4th.
Star Wars.
May the 4th
be
with us. Yep. And with our children.
So common lifestyle moment.
Similar. You don't have
Family
any pets.
is growing.
You don't have any pets, do you?
I don't. But no, for you, I'm saying.
I have a dog. I have a what is he, 75 pounds? Golden
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
Okay.
He's a sweet boy. But basically, it's time to add a car to the family. We currently own a Subaru Forester because we're from New England. It's what you do when you're up here. But it's time with 2 kids. Activities are picking up for the older one. It's time that we have a second car. So I'm hoping that I can get the experts at the table to kind of run me through.
So here's what I want to know.
Some advice.
The second car, will the Forester stay as like your primary road trip?
We have figured out a way to make the Forester work.
Okay.
So I think the Forester is going to stay our big car.
Okay.
We
So
have a Totally roof cargo box.
Love it.
I got stickers on it because I'm, again, in New England. It's what you do. So that's why this article is great. The best cars for commuting in 2025. So first of all, Natalie, this list, looking at the list, we got things like an Elantra, Model 3, GTI, K5, Outlander, Crosstrek, Accord, Santa Fe, QX55. Just so you know, I'm not in QX55 money range. But this list, how does it feel? How does that feel for a best car for commuting? Should we start there?
Sure. Yeah. I think each of these has a reason that our contributor, Craig Fitzgerald, put them on the list and very valid reasons. We've got a bit of a price range here, nothing super, super high end, but I don't know that any of these are what I would come up with for Elliot. That's a great point. My big thing. Car shopping is so individual, and there are so many other things. And I know you pretty well at this point, having worked together this long. So none of these are really screaming Elliot to me, or Carla for that matter. And that is an important question to me: is will you both be commuting in this car?
Yes. So the Forester is the all-wheel drive car. So for the winter, that'll be the one that probably she takes. If we're each going to take one, she'll take that one.
Okay.
And if she had her way, we would just have 7 Subaru Outbacks. She loves a Subaru.
She loves the Outback.
She loves an Outback. I'm not bound to a brand like she is, though.
What about powertrain? Or does it need to be hybrid? Does it need to be plug-in hybrid?
Okay. This is good because that's my first question.
As the California guy.
It's my first point of consideration.
I live in California.
I've said for a while, I've said my next car will be at least a hybrid because we drive in Boston city traffic. Most of my commuting is around rush hour in Boston. And I've said before, you have your city mileage, your highway mileage, your combined. There needs to be like city realistic mileage.
Yeah, tell the ladies and gentlemen what you're getting in your Forester.
I have never hit on any of the cars I've tested. I have never hit the city mileage.
Yeah, no one has.
And but I think
nor should you.
They're real cities. When the EPA
LA and
is
Boston
doing their estimates, they're using like outside Omaha or
Yeah.
something. You're like real easy city driving.
There
But in
needs
Boston,
to be a second city
there
mileage.
needs to be like the gauntlet city driving.
Like the potholes and the bikers getting in the way
Rotaries,
as a cyclist.
all the stop and
myself.
go, getting
So-
up to the rotary.
So the Subaru, in my normal commute, I get about 17 to 19 miles per
Yeah,
gallon.
not great.
Yeah.
And I think it's rated at 24-ish in
the
the
city.
city.
It might be a little lower than that.
What
Lower,
does Carla
23.
get for gas mileage?
The same, similar.
Well, so the other thing to note, it's cold here.
Mm-hmm.
Winter in Boston is pretty rough on your fuel economy, particularly if you're using things like the
Warming it up.
Yeah, the
Remote start.
Remote start.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what it's called. I guess my first question though, Elliot,
Yeah.
we're talking about commuter cars.
Mm-hmm.
I looked it up this morning. I know where you live. Your commute to the office
Yeah.
and back. If so, it was just you doing it and you were just commuting and you come into the office about 3 days a week. It's like 9.5 miles each way. So let's round up to 20 miles round trip, 60 miles a week. Is that truly how we're going to use it? Or should we be assuming that you're like actually closer to 10 or 12 or 15,000 miles a year rather than that would end up being like
Well, let me ask you
4,000
Grocery
4,000
shopping,
miles.
doctor's
Why
appointments.
are you asking?
So I'm asking because if he's driving it like a primary car, 15,000 mile a year car, fuel economy critically important.
Okay.
You know, you want to save as much money as you can, but when you get down into the 3, 4, 5,000 mile, you are not driving enough. You're not burning enough gas. Even if you were looking at like 20 miles per gallon versus 50 miles per gallon, the savings likely is not going to be enough. After 5 years,
assuming that the hybrid costs more up front. You're saying to offset
exactly.
that. Right.
So like the price premium on a Accord hybrid versus a Accord. We can go on CarGurus. We'll look a few of these up once I pass the mic, maybe.
No, that's a great point.
But call it.
Yeah.
Say it's $3,000.
Yeah. The hybrid surcharge.
So it may not be worth it for you to jump up.
So Matt has his little book of notes.
I brought my notes.
Matt
Many
loves the
consumers
notes.
do this. Maybe sort of automatically assume, well, the best thing for me to do is get a hybrid. That's the best way I'm going to save money, which, yes, that may be true, and it's probably true for many consumers.
Yeah.
But great point of like, look, if you're not going to be driving this that much, the upfront costs, and not all vehicles have upfront costs additional for hybrids anymore. Some are just hybrid only, and so that's like great. You know.
So
but there's always going to be a competitive model. So like the Accord, I think it's the Camry. The Camry is now hybrid only.
Hybrid only. Yeah.
But it has a higher starting price than like a Kia K5.
Sure.
So I'm a sicko. And I jot down my mileage and how much I spend on gas.
It's wild.
And
I do that for my own car. I don't do that for the cars I test, but I do that for my own
test
car.
cars. But so I've got my little book.
I've never once taken a note like this.
Now
by the way. Matt and I differ.
I bought a second car, so I've very recently gone through this exercise. I bought it. I wrote down when I took delivery, July 29th, 2024.
I got to ask, do you get is that a new book just for that car?
It's a new book just for this
I
car.
love it. You got to get a label maker and
since July,
customize it.
and it's just a commuter car. Just drive around the city. I've taken it to New Hampshire a couple times, but 6 fill-ups, less than $250 worth of gas in 9 months. So if you're truly not driving that much, my advice, don't worry so much about fuel economy. Buy the cheapest, most reliable car you can get.
That's a really good point. And because
the dollars up front is where you're going to save.
Are you shopping new?
I don't know.
Ooh, good one.
Everything on this list is new, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The list is new, but let's take
you're
the
shopping.
list, like I said, as a springboard.
Well, then what's your budget?
So I would like to be under 20k.
If we not shopping new, then
No, so I don't think it is new.
The Hyundai Venue would like a word.
Because I forget which one of you mentioned this. I've always said my next car will be a hybrid because my gas mileage is always so crap. But Matt, that's such a good point. And I really didn't think that way until you kind of laid it out. So that's hugely important. So no, I don't think it has to be a hybrid because I do imagine that it will be, what'd you say, 4,000 miles a year? Less than 5,000 miles a year. I think my daily commute, probably 25 miles or less.
So you don't think you're taking this on those weekend trips to see
No,
them?
then we will take the Forester.
All right, so you're under 20 grand. You're not driving it all that much. It's mostly dirt. This is not a road trip car. I'm going to ask about going all electric because right now
I thought you would, Dave.
I know, as
I
the
thought you
Californian
would.
and the EV guy here, you can get killer deals on used EVs with more than enough range to get you. You know, you would have to charge it maybe once a week. I don't know. Are you in a single family house?
We own a single family home.
So
We've
charging
made it.
is right. Welcome. Charging is easy to, not easy, but it's easier than if you were in an apartment or, you can install it yourself.
Right.
And I'm saying, look at EVs.
Well, and then maybe that does become your weekend car too.
It could.
It would be much more.
But you don't have to, you have the Subaru, the larger Subaru that's gas. You don't have to rely on, oh no, we have this road trip. It's 300 miles. You've got the gas car.
So I have a question.
Save some bucks.
And it's a slightly ignorant of EVs question.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
My commute, let's say it's 20 miles a day. So I'm not using much per day.
Mm-hmm.
I think do cars still come with an outlet to plug into your home outlet?
Yeah, it will just take you.
I know it's super
7 days to get.
But overnight, if I charged it overnight with a regular plug without installing a charger, can that get me 20 to 25 miles of range?
Oof.
If you're in like your washer dryer plug.
Oh, so like
that's a 220. Yeah,
That's a
so that'll be faster. I mean, you're going to get negligible.
Okay.
But it doesn't, so let's assume that you get a car that's 2.5 or 3 miles per kilowatt hour.
Sure.
If it's 2, you need 10 kilowatt hours to do your commute. I think you can get 10 kilowatt hours in 8 hours.
Also depends on the car.
Is that at all a feasible choice? Do I get a
and that's
cheap
all you're
EV
relying on?
and I'm plugging it at home in a regular outlet? And I'm doing 20 miles a day. Is that realistic?
I don't love it.
It's a choice.
You don't love it.
How much cold air are you letting into the house, and where's your heating bill going?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a budget-minded shopper, so anything that increases anything, I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't. At the very least, it'd be like, well, try plugging into your washer dryer, the 220.
But a public charger,
I mean, it'll keep it. It's a trickle charge, and it'll keep it like reasonably charged. But I
honestly,
I
it's all it takes is one drive to completely mess up that
my
plan.
whole system.
Yeah, it's
and
my whole utopian idea.
You take it to Saugus, or I guess you're right near Saugus. You take it to Salem and back once.
I wouldn't
one
recommend
weekend.
that.
Let's take the EV. Suddenly you're screwed for the week.
Can Carla charge at work? Does the hospital have?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think the big message here is that if you can't conveniently charge at home and you're thinking about an EV, don't assume that you're going to be saving money if you are going to public fast chargers
or that
to top
it's
up.
Worth sort of the headache or the hassle.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
Getting there, finding it full.
Yeah, or I mean, look,
Does that happen? Does that happen?
I live in Southern California.
It does.
We have, Southern California, we've got a pretty good infrastructure, and it is still highly unreliable. Either the chargers are offline and they show that on the app, or by the time you get there, it shows that it's available, but it's someone's either there or it's offline or it's not working properly or it doesn't connect with your car. I mean, if it's not working great for me and where I live, man, it's not going to work great. So don't rely on. That's what my takeaway is for anyone listening to this who is thinking about a commuter car and is saying the only way I'm going to charge it at my house is by plugging it into a normal outlet. Please don't do that.
I know that
that's not. It's just not going to be. It's going to be too stressful and not worth it. Now, if you have once a week, you go grab lunch, sit in your car and charge it, fully, and it takes 20 minutes. There you go. Okay.
I have a question that might be maybe a lot of people wonder this because people have asked me and I don't know the answer. Roughly, what's the cost to add a charger to your house?
It depends on the state and even
and if
your
you buy
city.
new.
So there is buying new.
Sometimes
so
automakers.
Ford currently offers, if you buy brand new EV Ford, they'll give you the charger. It's like a Ford branded type charger.
Yeah.
And installation by a company called Commuter. That's included. That's complimentary.
A lot of
Hyundai has a similar deal. Sometimes automakers will have an incentive.
Giving incentives on it.
I think
GM has a discount on them.
They do.
It also depends on where you live. Your city may have
and sometimes they give you options,
to say,
like public charging credit versus installation versus.
Yeah. I did ask. Our electrician was by probably like a year or so ago, and I asked specifically this question. Granted, that's one electrician in one area, so this is not representative of what you might find nationwide. But they said about $25,000, including the cost of the charging unit, which was more affordable. Or excuse me, $2,500.
Okay.
And I didn't need to upgrade my electricity service, so that's kind of a best case.
Generally, you need to
scenario.
add a second circuit, right? It's not, you're not running on the house
often. Yeah, it depends. If you're at 150 amps. Most houses today are full up. They won't have extra.
So
I had space on my breaker.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't need to add another.
No.
Okay.
But
I've heard 1,500 to 2,500. Sure.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So in my head, it was 1,000 to 2,000. But so it's a little bit higher than I thought. 15 to 25.
Well, and
tons
that's
of incentives.
factoring in the actual unit.
Yeah. If I'm just
I mean, those can be anywhere from like $200 to $700.
And buying used, those incentives probably aren't a thing. That's if you buy it new from a...
Well, no.
Well,
if you the charger installation, depending on where you live, your city or municipality,
the city could have, but
may
from
have
the
their own
automaker.
rebates. No, the automaker, that ship is sailed. But
Gotcha.
look, I mean, if you own your own home, that's an investment in your home.
Totally.
Right? Maybe when you turn around and sell it, if that's something you plan on doing in the near future, that goes on the real estate. As someone who's shopping for a house right now, I see it on plenty of listings of like installed home charger. You're like,
That's a
great,
pro.
that's cool.
So what are we looking at here? Are we talking like Nissan Leafs, Chevy Bolts?
Oh, what for EV? I mean,
BMW i3s, they pop up.
Well, you've got
fairly
two kids.
often.
That's too small, I think, and a dog. You want something
But
that
if
like
you're not commuting with the kids and the dog.
but like you want maybe that option for like the weekend.
Agreed.
I love the i3. I think it's a cool car if it fits one's lifestyle. I don't quite think it fits yours.
Yeah. So for me, it's two kids, taking them to daycare and then driving to the office.
My sister lives in Burlington,
So
Vermont.
the dog would never really be a part of this.
My sister lives in Burlington, Vermont. They have a minivan and then a Nissan Leaf, and they have a very big dog. So they have two kids and a big dog. So like the daily, and they're in cold weather.
Yeah.
They charge it at home. And it works for them. It's
The Nissan Leaf. I've done these searches on CarGurus.com. They're cheap.
They're cheap.
inexpensive.
There you go.
They're
Good point.
affordable.
They're
Some
affordable.
of them are, the early ones are cheap.
But there's a Nissan Leaf today, and actually I saw Nissan is like revamping their whole line. That's not what I'm talking about, because those, I think they look pretty sick. But the Leaf's available now as used.
Yeah.
Is that a viable choice?
And what I love, and I'm going to shamelessly plug CarGurus here, is that if you are...
You're wearing the vest.
I'm wearing the vest because it's 20 degrees in here. If you are unsure of, as we all are, of car pricing and what is a good value, we have listed right here, if you're like looking at multiple Nissan Leafs, good deal, fair deal, great deal, just to put it in perspective, and that's relative to the rest of the market. So you can find a low mileage, late model Nissan Leaf that hits and feel comfortable, like, okay, this is relative to all the other Nissan Leafs on the market. Cool. There's some insights for you.
Okay.
I mean, I would probably, I don't know, leave a Bolt, a Leaf. I don't think.
I like the Bolt.
They're
think
small.
It's a goofy looking car, but I don't
think they're goofy. I think they're
not that
small.
much smaller than the Leaf, are they?
No. Once you put a dog, the minute you factor a dog in,
every car is too small. You need a minivan.
70-pound. So that would be, I think there are a lot of used EV options for you, but not everyone listening is going to want to go EV.
Sure.
So tons of, I mean, you're at a sweet spot, I think 20 grand and under for a used car. You can get, it's sort of more of what do you want, right? Do you want a car? Most of the vehicles on this list are a car. Yeah. Or do you want a crossover?
Yeah.
Right?
So the car I have right now, the press car I have right now is it's a Civic hatchback hybrid. It's a 2025. It's fully loaded. It's not 20 grand. I love it. It's like, what do you like about it? The hybrid, it actually makes it a little peppy. Like it feels like it has a lot of power.
Honda Civic hybrid
it's really torquey up front. I think the space works. I have Mateo, my son, right behind me, and my daughter, her rear facing infant seat is behind the passenger seat.
How much
fits
space?
Okay.
But for the front passenger, are they?
That's
I didn't buy the Civic because of the rear facing.
Yeah, it's less of a concern.
Okay,
because I'm viewing it as me, two kids, daycare, office. And then the reverse.
But what you're saying is with the rear facing seat,
probably not
the
super
Civic
comfortable.
Is a little tight for that front passenger.
Probably not super comfortable. So like the Civic is the one I have now is awesome. A used one, it's going to be different, but like the Corolla, the Civic.
Well, and you won't find a used one. Brand new, right? The Civic hybrid's brand new.
Oh yeah,
hybrid, but a Civic hatchback. Yeah.
So something that has come up in my searches, the Honda Insight and Clarity. You don't hear those talked about that often. What are those? Why don't people seem to talk about them?
The Clarity EV had like 5 miles of range. I'm obviously exaggerating, but it was under 100 miles. So that was like kind of a non-starter.
Not a realistic.
Then there's the Clarity fuel cell. Again, like what? Where are you going to fill that up?
Definitely not here.
Not here.
The plug-in hybrid.
You might find a place. We don't have those here.
Surprisingly few in Southern California. There's actually one near my house, but it's the only one for miles.
So maybe.
But the plug-in hybrid is a good option.
Are we buying a second car for Dave?
Let's all get a third car. Dave needs a third car.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a little earlier in my career than Dave. I need a second.
Do you know the cost? How much do you think I make? My God.
Yeah.
I live in Southern California. I can barely afford groceries.
Let's change
California.
the topic. Let's talk about our pay. Who's down?
Our pay transparency.
Everybody write down the number on a piece of paper. We're going to read them out and guess them.
Everybody please subscribe to this so we can get sponsors.
There we go.
And buy our second and third and fourth cars.
I just want to follow up. I said earlier I'd look up the prices on the price difference on the Accord hybrid and the Accord. Using our CarGurus.com/research/price trends page.
Love the price trends page.
It looks like a 2023 Accord hybrid. The average price is just under 29.
But go back to a
23 Accord, it's about 25.2.
Okay.
like $4,000 difference. But go back to the hybrid. But you can get I'm going to scooch over here.
Yeah, come on over.
So to hit the $20,000 threshold, you can get a 2018 Honda Accord hybrid for $20,000.
Okay.
That's a home run.
Okay.
Yeah, that car will last you. Your 4-year-old son will take that car to college.
Yeah.
It'll last so long.
You guys, so Matt, you have an Accord gas. Yeah. Natalie, you have an Accord hybrid in the household.
Yep.
What year is yours?
22.
Okay.
So
that would have been previous generation.
Mine's a 21.
My dad's first car was a Honda CRX. And he drove that for like 20 years, and he still says it's one of his favorite cars he's ever had.
That's a classic.
So like I have like Honda nostalgia.
No, like, Hondas are. I mean, they're a cut above sort of what you would like. There's like surprise and delight features that you don't get on other comparable cars. So I mean, that's a previous generation Accord. It's going to have all the space in the world. I mean,
so much space.
Yeah.
It's why
more
I
space
bought
than $20,000.
I needed the space.
I actually have a hard time parallel parking our Accord sometimes because it's so much bigger than it seems.
Yeah, this car is so big, I can barely park it.
Yeah, I can't get the seat high enough to really see over the hood.
It's got a little bit of like a limo
not my car, it's
feel
Alex's
to it.
car.
Okay. When we had our first child, that week, because we came home in a Ford Focus and it was not comfortable for my wife in the front seat. We got our Forester that day because it was like, oh, well, we need to upsize. We get a crossover just like everybody. But the first press car sedan I had, I was like, this is kind of nice.
Yeah.
There's more than enough room back here.
And you can, because so many people are only focused on buying a crossover, you can get really good deals on
that's true too.
Very impressive.
Okay. So we're doing sedans. We're doing a sedan. If it's an EV, it's probably a Nissan Leaf or a Chevy Bolt.
Sure.
Neither of which are sedans.
No, but
but the Leaf is sedan-ish, right?
No, it's not.
It has a weird kind of unique bulbous shape all its own.
That's a good way to put it.
Definitely got bulbous shape.
Yeah. Okay, but the Bolt, not a sedan.
Hey-oh, where's that rim shot? There we go. Nice.
That's our one sound
Once
effect.
an episode, I will use a sound effect.
But yeah, Honda Accord,
Honda Accord. So
okay. Maybe people want a crossover though.
Yeah, okay.
$20,000. Let's.
I will say that God, I'm going to sound like an octogenarian here. The problem that I've been having,
may we all be so
Accord
lucky,
is that it's a far drop down into that driver's seat. Getting in and out of it, I
want to make fun of you right now, but I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong.
In my body.
So then a CRV.
This is not supposed to be an issue.
Let's look up CRVs. Let's see. Okay. By the way, my most recent search on CarGurus was for the Hupmobile.
Ooh, why?
Nice.
I don't know.
Tell me more.
I think I saw one on our, the sort of side panel, and I clicked on it.
Is it a good
commuter car for
commuter
me?
Car?
Well, I don't even know what a Hupmobile is.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's
I don't know if that's
old, Hup Motor Car Company from 1909 to 1939.
We've got everything,
that
folks.
That shows just how much we can sell
there
you
is
on
one for sale.
That's
1927 Model E sedan.
What's the cost on that?
It's out of Elliot's. It's $25,000.
Do we have a deal rating? Great deal.
Do you want to go in on it together?
Yeah.
There is no deal rating. Not enough data.
This is right up Natalie's like obscure car. This is the stuff you love. Anyway,
it's even pretty. It's blue.
We're gonna look up used Honda. I mean, that's where again. There's Honda and Toyota and Nissan and Chevy and Ford. They made so many compact crossovers.
Yeah.
That you're gonna find one $20,000. And
so I think what I run up against. I don't know much about the mechanics of cars. Mm-hmm. I don't want to spend money repairing them. I want something that's going to be a reliable, cheap to own, and I'm not going to have to stress about it. Mm-hmm. So in my head, and tell me if this is wrong, I immediately go to Honda, Toyota. Is that
statistically Toyota is the winner?
Is that still true? Is that unfair to other makes?
They have the reputation for a reason.
Sure.
But in the world of used cars, the only way to go into the purchase with any sort of confidence is like get the inspection, spend the $100, $200 to have the car
and a warranty.
Looked at.
Like
warranty helps.
Depends on how old the car is. So like if it's pretty new, you may not need it.
There's an argument as well based on the warranty of like Kias and Hyundais. The warranty on those cars was so long that if you get a 2023 Optima, maybe it was the K5 by then, or the Sonata,
it may transfer to you.
It might transfer to you.
It's like 10 years, 100,000 miles.
Quite frankly, like they don't suffer the same sort of used car price premium that you do see on Hondas and
Sure.
Toyotas. Another option's Mazda. I mean, the Mazda 6, I feel like in its waning days, nobody was buying them.
They're
Probably
delightful
deals
cars.
They're really good cars.
Lovely to
Good
drive.
looking.
Yeah. The Mazda 3 maybe a little
Unappreciated.
tight,
Yeah.
particularly with the rear-facing car
Yeah,
seat.
yeah.
But I love the 6.
Any Mazda in its segment is always
Frankly,
one worth considering, no matter what segment you're shopping in.
if you're looking
they
at
drive
the
so nice.
crossover, the CX-5, I mean, it's also, look, you can get really good deals on
Well, yeah, you
these
shake
things.
a tree in Boston, and
Yeah.
5 of them will fall out. Like,
Yeah.
and that helps your pricing, and that helps know that there's a dealer nearby who's going to be able, or somebody to work on it. Like it's
Parts availability.
yeah. It's
Let's-
sort of you've got a lot of choices.
Can we just talk fun for a moment?
Let's talk fun.
Like you work for CarGurus.
Yeah.
You're a car guy now. You know, we've welcomed you into the fold.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here, Natalie. As far as I know,
going.
you had a Mini Cooper Type S.
Uh-huh.
You've had a 3 Series. You appreciate the fun vehicle.
I
If you
do.
were to pick one car, maybe it's on this list, maybe it's not. But you were saying
But a fun, but also good for
a
commuting.
fun commuter car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's your head going?
And feel free to nudge the price a little bit. Like if you got to go to
yeah.
25, let it go to 25. You know what I mean?
yeah, you can always
Must
make
be
more
nice.
money.
I'm rolling in it. You know?
Yeah,
Fun
the
commuter
stock
car.
market's doing great right now.
Well, I'll tell you one that my husband and I have been talking about.
Oh, boy.
We have a very frequent ongoing discussion
I
that
would
ends
imagine you
with
two
maybe
do.
that's the move.
Yeah.
It's always about like
Just
the
for our
2 car
listeners,
solution.
how many cars do you own right now between you and your husband?
5?
I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, I think maybe
Yeah.
5.
Okay.
That's fine. That's an average of less than 3 per person.
Well, it's about to
And
change.
that average
Yeah.
will go down. When,
Yeah,
when
that's
we have a
right.
baby.
Yeah, that'll soon change. Whenever we do like a car negotiation episode, I need you to lead it because you've bought so many more cars than I have in my life.
I don't know if I've been negotiating in like normal circumstances though.
Well, by the time we do that episode, you'll have negotiated another car, probably.
Maybe.
Wait, I want to hear what Natalie. What,
Yeah.
so what do you?
So
what
one
do you
thing
like?
we've been talking about a lot is WRX, and I know you would like that. It seems like we think we can get a car seat in the back seat and it'll be fine, but it does
totally
seem
could.
like it might be a teeny bit tight.
To me, look, I'm a big fan of having fun in WRX. Would you want a manual transmission? First of all, it's always worth one considering. Can one's partner or spouse also drive a manual transmission?
Yes.
You don't have to get. They have a CVT. But does that then dilute the fun, right?
Yes.
And do you want to be
dilutes the
driving
fun.
a manual transmission in Boston city traffic? Like I'm in LA traffic. Do I want a manual as like my daily driver?
Yeah.
Just something to consider. Many consumers are like,
Alex and I also, to be fair, I guess, don't commute with our cars most of the time.
Yeah.
And that is what we're talking about. But still, like, if I'm thinking fun commuter, that's where I go first, I guess.
That's such a good, because I think I've shared this with you. Maybe I needed to shoot higher, but my dream car for a long time, mainly when I was in high school, I talked about my friend that had a blue WRX STI with the gold wheels. That's been like
Gold
my
wheels.
my attainable dream car for a while, and it's never fit, and it maybe doesn't fit now. But yeah, I think it would have to be a manual, or it'd have to be an automatic, because in the event that my wife would need to drive, I did teach her to drive stick for a vacation we went on once, because I knew we were doing a road trip. So she learned enough to get by, but it's not something that we would want.
you want it to
Doesn't
just be
bring her
easy
joy.
for her
Be
to grab
excited
that
about.
car for the day. I mean, we've got the GTI on this list.
Yeah.
That
nice-
sort of solves the
nice thing about the WRX that you were leading to, and the GTI falls into the same category. This was your dream car when you were in high school. They've been making these for a long time. They exist on the used market. Now the question
I could probably
is,
find an 03 WRX.
Do
right?
you want
There have been
a
good deals on new
20-year-old
ones.
WRX? Like nobody bought the WRX and babied it. The GTI may be a better option
that's-
because, as I think we'll all agree, a little more grown up.
I'm looking at GTIs under 20 grand.
You know, my
I just
dad
wanna
always
see what
told
they
me,
get.
like, don't get anything with the performance letters. And of course, I did buy the Mini Cooper S anyway. Or don't get anything with the performance letters used, because someone will have driven the crap out of it. But so GTI, I feel like, also falls into that category. But
Yeah.
I would buy it used anyway. I've
Gotta
done that
live
kind
a
of thing
little.
before. Yeah. He also
gotta
said don't
explore.
get anything with run flats, and I did. And, you know,
So
How'd that
basically,
work? Do we have any-
you take
I
no
was
advice.
thrilled with that. I've driven on a busted run flat for much longer than I should have in my
So if
in
you,
my youth.
if you want a GTI, you're going to get some miles on it. Like if you need to stay under 20 grand. So it's like, look, there's one, this actually seems like a pretty good, it's rated good deal.
I like a good deal.
17.4. It's white, 4-door, 51,000 miles on it.
Okay.
Hey, there we go.
That's
Is that
sort
a
of-
Autobahn trim?
Yeah.
Yeah, top trim.
That
So you
feels-
don't get the plaid seats.
That feels entirely reasonable.
Manual transmission.
And whenever
send that to me,
whenever I am searching on CarGurus.com,
it has a plaid seats. For those who don't know,
that can't be an Autobahn trim.
The GTI has multiple generations have had the base model comes with these very cool plaid seats that is unlike anything in the auto industry. And they're just, I have a soft spot in my heart. It's just, it's such a cool little feature. Yeah, this probably isn't the Autobahn if it has but still.
Heritage rich.
51,000 miles. Yeah. 17.5 grand. It's in Florida, so you'd have to get it up here.
Scroll down. Let's see that. How many owners? How many accidents?
So yeah, we've got all this information.
With the
one previous owner, clean title, no accidents. Ooh. That's a good deal. Like that's a cool car.
I think that might have been Grandma's GTI.
Why don't you slap that on over to me?
Yeah, and even taking into account that you have to get it shipped up here, I still think that's a pretty good deal.
Drive it up here and make a family vacation out of it. Your sabbatical's coming up.
That's cool.
Is there a long form video that we could film on this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Expense that fuel, baby.
I live my life to create content.
So that was the previous generation. And yeah, here's another one. Sort of like after post refresh, right? But 2019.
If I recall, the
$20,000 even.
Backseat's pretty good in the GTI too.
Okay.
For a car of its size.
It's reasonable.
But the rear facing car seat always is a curveball.
I mean, she'll only be rear facing for another.
No, for sure.
6 to 9 or
no, you have to tell your wife that too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Rear face as long as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, people have options.
Okay, so
I have fun and have a commuter car that's also responsible.
I have one more question, and this is such a generic question, so it's not going to be easy to answer. When I'm on CarGurus.com, as you do, searching for a car, what do I set my higher limit of miles? How many miles is too many? Is 60,000 reasonable? And I know it depends on the make. I get it, but like
the year,
as a general buyer. So am I looking for sub 70, sub 50?
I feel like
that's such a vague question. I know, but help me out.
Rather than thinking about it in terms of just pure miles, think about what your budget is. And like if you come up with a list on there and you're saying, all right, I want to look at a Prius, I want to look at a GTI, and I want to look at a CX-5 because I have no idea what I want. Do a little research on those market values. I mean, we put IMVs, instant market values, on almost all of our inventory and figure out like, well, if my budget's $20K, how many miles should a $20K Prius have on it, and set that as your threshold. You know, that way, like it's easy to say like, oh, don't buy anything with more than 100,000 miles on it. But 100,000 miles on a Prius is very different than 100,000 miles on a GTI.
100%.
Yeah, I just go ahead.
You could look at like under 15K a year, then it's been driven less than average.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
a good point. Yeah, the older the vehicle.
Okay, that's a good way to think about it.
But it still may need certain, big repairs.
I'd check also, what are those milestone mileage points for that particular make and model?
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like a reliability fanatic. So to me, it's like I would rather pay a little bit more for a lower mile car up front.
Okay.
And from a more reliable brand.
I'm prone to looking at it as like, I'm going to put the miles on it anyway. So, and also like, did they do that milestone service?
Yeah.
Before I bought it? Like, great.
Yeah. I mean, vehicle history report and a pre-purchase inspection, they're your best friends.
So talk to me about a pre-purchase.
Or a warranty. An aftermarket,
pre-purchase inspection. That's when you go for a test drive and you say to the dealer
or the seller,
give me a day with it. And take it to a mechanic, or give me a couple hours with it? Is that? I mean, that's a totally normal thing to do, right? I've never done that.
Dealerships should be pretty familiar with the
willing to do that.
Of, hey, can I take this to my mechanic? I mean, don't take it to your mechanic who's 3 hours away.
Sure. Right.
But honestly, like if a dealer says no to a PPI,
that's a bad sign.
Inspection, maybe a red flag.
But most will.
Most will say.
Okay.
Because they've probably done the same inspection themselves.
Cool.
They want your business. They also would, most dealers they're smart folks, right? They want to see you again in 4 years when you're ready to buy, replace the Subaru. They're not going to, So I think it's reasonable. I don't think it's necessary. I don't want to stress anyone out who's shopping for a car right now of like, oh my gosh, I didn't get a pre-purchase inspection. I don't think it's a must-have.
Yeah, the newer the car, the less critical.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, if it's a CPO, those come with warranties on them.
Or if it's off lease, or I think it's more if it's a model that particularly maybe has either high repair bills or a problematic history, or there's a component on it that's sort of known of like, oh, the timing belts go early on those things.
Yeah,
maybe that's one. But like,
Okay, so here's my problem with The Accord has come up a lot.
Just one.
We have multiple Accord owners on this panel.
It's a great car.
Here's my issue. For a time, Matt and I, we worked together very often. We each had one car.
Oh,
and they were both a Subaru Forester. I had a 21. You had a 21, and then you got a 22.
Yeah.
So for a time, Matt and I both had the exact same car. Okay, and then he added a Honda Accord to his family's
so you don't want to
lineup of cars.
I mean, to be fair, Elliot, I am a car guru. It's like, let's not look at my choices as, I don't want to make that choice.
So is this a liability or an asset?
I think it's an asset, but I don't want to. Granted, I got the Forester first, I believe, and then a couple weeks later, you got yours. So actually, you copied me the first time.
But no one else will know that.
Natalie, you have an Accord in the family,
which I got before Matt.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Matt, okay. So
I was actually just following her lead, and I looked at the price difference on the hybrid, and I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense.
Is the Accord a top tier choice for me? Because the Accord is on our list of best commuting cars in 2025, and it seems like it's cropped up as a winner in our discussion. As an owner, do you concur? Is the Accord a winner? Should I target the Accord?
I mean, I think the Accord is a great car. I was shocked my husband bought it. He's a car guy. And then he started later saying, I'm kind of bored with this. It's like, nobody saw that coming. I don't know why it doesn't quite say Elliot to me. Okay. But I think it's a great
WRX
choice.
would.
It's a great,
a WRX would.
WRX
suits
would.
you, but I also, anyone listening, I think an Accord is a great choice.
Yeah, an Accord is a great choice.
Do you know, when I met my wife,
it's an excellent car.
She was driving an Accord. Each of her parents had an Accord.
Oh my gosh.
Two of her grandparents had an Accord, and her sister had, and her brother. So you would go over to like family dinners at their house, and it was like a used Honda Accord dealership.
Which
that many people
can't be wrong. Like, there's engineers in the family, and her one grandfather was literally a rocket scientist at JPL. They're well engineered cars. It was kind of funny.
My first car was an Acura Legend, which is the Acura version. It was an '89 Acura Legend.
Let's talk about that later. Those are really cool cars.
To prove that she's the coolest car person at the table.
Absolutely.
That was your first car?
That was my first car.
Oh, wow. Those have always been cool.
It had been my step-grandfather's.
Was it a manual?
No, that would have been awesome.
I mean, still very cool.
He had a Vigor before the Legend, though.
Vigor, I forgot about the Vigor. Names that automakers give up, the Vigor.
I know, they switched to alphanumeric, and they're just like the
now we have the TSX.
B3.
TLX is what we're on now.
There's probably a TSX.
I can't wait to revisit this conversation like 8 podcasts from now, and you can let everybody know that you did in fact purchase another Subaru Forester.
There is a house near my street where I think there are 3 Foresters in the driveway. So they're all the same generation too.
I mean, are you playing the lottery? Because then it's Elliot has purchased a Sienna. That's what Elliot really wants.
For so long, it's like, do we need to replace the Forester? But we've done a couple trips now with all the baby stuff, and we've made it work in the Forester. And
we've got the Thule bin,
and we have the Thule bin, and you never need more than when they're a baby.
Mm-hmm. That's so true.
Unless I'm wrong, and I have
it's
a tough future.
The tinier the human, the more stuff you have to put in your car, and it gets better and better as that little human.
So I figured, as long as we're making it work,
put the human in the car.
Yeah, that's the best part. Yeah,
send them off.
See ya.
If we add a third kid, which who knows?
We're
gonna go. We're gonna go Sienna.
Yeah, that changes everything.
Yeah.
Or some new fun minivan that who knows?
Who knows? I'd love to do a topic on why minivans are cool.
Maybe minivans.
We will talk about minivans in another episode.
I love a minivan.
And why it'll never land in our driveway. Stay tuned.
So it looks like I'm going to target a Honda Accord and or a Nissan Leaf.
But tons of good choice. I mean, I want to stress I think within that, one has the ability to choose sort of almost any vehicle that they sort of shape and brand, and you've got a lot of choices. Is sort of what I want listeners to take away from this. Of you're in a good spot. There's plenty of choices.
One thing I just thought of that we didn't talk about was driver assistance features, and whether you want them, and also your commute. I happen to know is not a lot of time on the highway, but
no.
Well, at $20,000, you're gonna have fewer of those.
Well, what about a used Hyundai? I mean, they have they stuffed the Tucson and the Santa Fe full of.
Sure.
lane centering.
Well, it's like, are you looking for safety or are you looking for driver assistance? Because sometimes, I mean, if you get in like earlier generations of some of the driver assistants were so annoying that most people I know just turned them off and like, well, that's not safer now,
true.
right? Like
you go back
beeping at you.
Yeah, you end up, it's less like highway driving assist and more adaptive cruise control.
Yeah,
which like I could not buy a car today for regular, daily driving use and not have adaptive cruise control.
Yeah, that's so weird. I don't
love it.
I live in LA. I almost never use it.
Well,
even on the freeway when we're not in traffic, we're just going up the coast or something.
I find that like if I'm going to New Hampshire, as soon as
long road trips,
as soon as I get past Manchester, I'm like press the button.
But at $20,000, it's not something I think people focus on the reliability of the vehicle and getting lower miles and just making sure the crash test ratings are good. I would say that's sort of a secondary.
Yeah, for my use case, and again, it's my use case, but kids are in the car for the first mile until we get to daycare, and then it's just me. So, and that first mile is all kind of 25 miles per hour or below. It's like all neighborhood streets. So, thanks, team.
Yeah, stay tuned. I want to keep us posted.
I hope I'm actually a man of my word and I actually do buy a car and I can follow up on this. Give me a couple, episodes, I guess. Give me a couple episodes. We'll see what happens.
Great. Wait.
Any final thoughts? Any last minute additions?
Well, I mean, if you only need to get the kids to daycare about a mile away, just, get like a Miata, strap them to the hood. They'll be fine.
Yeah. For sure. Well, thank you, team, for helping me. Hopefully, if anybody out there is in a similar situation,
leave comments.
Leave comments. Head to the YouTube.
Buy what they have bought. Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah.
And we'll try to help you. But head to the YouTube channel, leave us a comment, and remember, everything we've talked about here is available on CarGurus.com as a written and a video review.
Yeah, we've all driven all these too.
We've all driven all of them,
and we've driven them,
and we've owned multiple versions of some of these cars. So
this one,
Thanks, team. Everybody else,
good luck shopping.
Yeah. See you next week.
Talk soon.